I came to Cyprus. I came to Cyprus because of the reasons that my parents left. That might sound strange since my parents left as a result of the conflict and I came here because of it. Let me go back to a time when that responsibility was instilled in me. The story begins when I first came to Cyprus at the age of 4. In my grandparents' living room, surrounded by pictures of our family members on the wall, was a framed photo in black and white of a couple who were not familiar to me. I asked my grandmother, "Who is that?" And she replied, "They are the people who used to live here." She was referring to the Greek Cypriots who owned the house. "Well, why don't they live here anymore? Why can't we visit them, or why don't they come to see us?" I had so many questions. As far as I was concerned, I knew everyone on that wall except the couple. Their photo stayed on the wall for decades. How do you explain to a 4-year-old that thousands of people were displaced across the island during the conflict? That they had to leave their homes and stay in refugee camps? That Turkish Cypriots were given Greek Cypriot homes to live in until further notice? Perhaps this is the reason why my grandmother left that photo on the wall. Maybe she thought that one day, soon, everything would be solved and those people would come back home and she'd go back to hers. But the division still continues after more than 30 years, causing suffering for people long after the fighting ended. I remember I was a teenager and one day in my grandparents' home, I woke up to a loud scream in the house. It was my grandmother. She'd had a nightmare where she was rushing to leave her home, and as she turns around, she sees a soldier pointing his gun at her. She wakes up just before he pulls the trigger. At that moment in time, I realise and am certain that something is wrong. I didn't know the history. I had no idea what had happened or why it happened. All I knew was that there was a suffering in the people I knew, and an invisibility in the people I could not know, the people on the wall. Years went by and many grandchildren were born and added to my grandparents' wall. Eventually, the mysterious couple disappeared from the walls. In 2003, when the checkpoints opened up, my grandmother eventually returned the photo to visiting relatives of the couple on the wall. Despite her fears and nightmares, she distilled a sense of hope in all of us by keeping that photo for decades next to pictures of us. She taught us that by giving back to a family something so sentimental, by making one small gesture of goodwill, we can, as a community, contribute something to make a difference. She taught us that this is a responsibility we all have, not just to ourselves, but to each other. This island of love, Cyprus, it possesses a person, and that is why we come back, or why we won't leave. The photos, the stories, and the memories of its people need to be unscrambled and joined back together so that we can all see the beauty of the full picture.